Okay, there I am. All right. God, these late starts drive me crazy. I'm so sorry, y'all. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, and I've got some weird stuff happening. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. Sorry for the late start. Hey there, Jennifer, Heidi, Claire, Lisa. I really do apologize for the late start. I am in the kitchen by myself tonight, so it's just me, and maybe that's what slowed me up. I'm not just sure. But anyway, I have some ideas for tonight's class. Obviously, I did not come up with a theme, but I thought in the first 20 seconds here that I want to open the floor to suggestions of anything. If you have any suggestions, what I am feeling tonight is kind of an easygoing class. And I was thinking about kind of a fundamentals class, like the kind of class where you can pretty much do everything that I'm going to do, but then if you can't, it might be nice to learn it this way, so you're not learning it in front of people, like especially if you think it's like it's a fundamental, but it may not be known to you. So there's a few things that I thought we would try tonight. And if you have a suggestion, I know we're on a 9-second delay. Let me grab a piece of paper. Oh my. Okay. Okay. You don't have to, but if anyone has a request for a super basic move that you don't know and you want to learn this way so you're not in front of people, also let me know. I'm just waiting to see if anybody types anything. Balances. All right. Hey, Carla, there she is. Someone just donated. Thank you. I really appreciate the donations, y'all. Thank you so much. This is not the best economy to be a hooper. Balances. All right, I'm just going to wait another 15 seconds here, see what's going on, see if anybody has anything. If you're tuning in for the first time, which I really doubt you are because I did 0 promotion for this particular class, but if you are, I normally have other flomies around, other students, and tonight I don't, so that's why there's this. Not sure what I don't know. Sweet, Dorothy. All right, thanks for the trust there. All right, I'm gonna wait another 10 seconds on my side of this, which will be almost 20 seconds for you guys. Okay, one-handed balance specifically. All right, that's a good one. All right, anyway, yeah, and there will not be class on Monday. I just want to make sure most of you are tuning in a lot, so I really appreciate that. We have this core group of about 18 to 20 people, either through replay or live or whatever, that are here. Thursday's a little bit less crowded, but I really appreciate you guys being here. But Monday will be Valentine's Day, and we will not have class. If that's a sad day for you, I really am sorry. I'm old. It's gone through my life. It's been a sad day, a happy day, and all the days in between. But usually it's a busy day of some sort, and so that's why we're not having class. And then we will not have a jam this weekend either. So, and I know sometimes I spring those on you, but we will not. Okay, so nobody's chiming in with any other requests, so let's just go ahead and get going. I think I'm just going to play music off my SoundCloud tonight because what I'm kind of wanting to do is just have a nice, easy-going, feel-good class. Elbows. All right, I got to think about that one. That's a great. All right, elbows. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good challenge. All right, let's go. The window on suggestions is wide open, so like you can make these as we go. It's totally fine. All right. Welcome to 400 views of Baxter. Hopefully you should be closing your eyes anyway. Audible breath in. Do you ever have that feeling, I'm sure you do, where you're not quite sure if you're getting sick? I've been dealing with that feeling today and yesterday. And I feel fine. But I'm going to spend the next few minutes just breathing deeply into me. And I invite you to do the same. As a way of green lighting whatever microbiological healing needs to happen. Open. Open. Audible breath in. These big breaths are really helping me find a reset. Oh, what if I described... Okay, I want to read this comment from Heidi. Okay, another idea. I was thinking about how I love it when you build a scene for us through myth. Thank you. It makes me feel like I'm the character hooping. Good. What if you described a powerful hoop experience that you yourself had, and we can pretend to be Baxter? Okay. All right. I'll give you one. Okay. Okay, good. I'm gonna give you one right now. Okay, what I want you to do is let's go ahead and all these cameras are hilarious. This is kind of a waist tubing story. All right, so okay, Sarah, I just saw you here in the comments, y'all. Sorry, I think all right. So Sarah, winter hooping, yeah, that's a good one. All right, well, this is actually one that you can kind of do in winter. Okay, so go ahead and grab your hoops, and we're going to start off with a waist tubing exercise. Let me see if I can find this. This isn't going to be the best example. Well, wait a minute. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to recreate this experience. I'm going to switch out the artist in the story because some bad things apparently were found out about this person. So I'm going to switch artist in the story, and hopefully all those bad things are not true, but even if they are, I don't want to trigger anybody. So we're going to play what I think is actually a decent human being's music, but this will be the story. Okay, so on the waist here, maybe I could put it in the background. Actually, okay, this will work. Maybe. Okay, let's start off waist tubing. Okay, and so this is I've never done it to this music. I've never done it to this song before, and I don't know if I've never done this before. So, but I want to give you, this is a good chance to warm up the core anyway. I'm at Burning Man, and it's 2006. This is my second time going. It's Saturday. The burn starts on Monday. You just reverse whenever you need to. You can change direction as you need to. At Burning Man, at least in the old days, it ran from a Monday to a Monday. So Saturday was one of the last days, right? I had been hooping at that point since 2001, really since 2002, too seriously, so I was 4 years deep into hooping. And Spiral had been my partner, business, well, not like hoop partner, not romantic partner, but she had been my hoop partner in this, and she wanted, it was just kind of like we were kind of growing apart. I wanted to go into teaching, and she wanted to go into performing, but I had always thought of us as a team. And so we went to Burning Man, I think, in that year with both of these tensions happening, or at least one happening in me. And then, it's Burning Man and things happen. And on Saturday night, at one of the sound camps, oh, sweet Rita, I am there, and it's Saturday night. Spiral and I had just had a spat, and I go to this sound camp, which is where they play music, and I go blindfolded, which you guys should. And I just start spinning the hoop, and I'm thinking about everything that just happened and everything that ever led up to it. And the more and more that I'm thinking about it, the wind picks up. I'm outside at Burning Man, and my hoop just starts to get faster and faster and faster. But nothing's forced, right? I'm feeling, honestly, I'm outside of my hoop. I'm just feeling all of these emotions. And what I'm about to describe might sound so egotistical, but you have to understand how low my self-esteem used to be. Because I was sitting there in this feeling of loss as I'm blindfolded on the playa, spinning my hoop. It's 10 o'clock at night on Saturday night, maybe 1 o'clock, I don't know. And out of like the pit of me, as I'm swirling my hoop, just began to swell, like bubble up, like I had tapped oil or something. Confidence. And the voice, it's going to sound so egotistical, but you have to understand how low I was at. And like, it was just this voice that kept going, "You're enough, Bax. You're enough, Bax. You're enough. You're enough. You're enough. You're enough. You've got this. You've been preparing for this. You've been training for this all those hours. You're ready for this. This is you. You're enough, Bax. You're enough." And my hoop is just like spinning around. And you can join me in this. I know it's not a myth story, but you can join me in it. Just like see if you can create a vibration of like, "You're enough."
Muy amable y simpática. Vaya.
And the wind is like you're hooping outside. If you haven't been to Burning Man, you might not know it, but the wind is just so poetic out there. And the wind is just picking up all the way around me. And suddenly I feel like I am like wrapping that wind around me. And I feel so, my Dan, I feel so like connected to the earth, and just keep like, the more I spin, it's like it's pumping this just confidence into my body. Just like, "You're enough. You're enough. You got this. You've been doing this. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready." And then I know the next part is going to sound so cheesy, but it's what happened. As I'm warming up, as I'm changing currents, as the hoop is spinning around me, wherever it was. And I invite you to do this too. I just started saying my name to myself. I just said, "My name is Baxter. My name is Baxter. My name is Baxter. My name is Baxter." I totally invite you to go with me there. Tell yourself you're enough. Feel it. Allow like confidence to come up. Audible breath in. So I'm having this moment, right?
Sí, tú.
Let's see.
Estoy hablando a ti.
We'll pick it up just a little bit. So I'm having this moment. The hoop's blindfolded. My confidence is swelling. Everything is going. You know, the wind is with me. I'm just having this moment, y'all. And when I'm in the movement, I will never forget the hoop was up around my, like, I just remember it was close to, like, what I was calling my heart center. It was way up here. And I don't remember what crazy shit that I was doing, but I was just so lost in this feeling, saying my name to myself, telling me that I was enough, all of these different things. And out of nowhere, someone says, "Sick! Sick! You're fucking sick!" And I was totally blindfolded. And this drunk angel just screams, "You're sick, you're sick, you're sick." And I knew exactly what she meant, and oh my God, it lifted me. And the hoop just started flying around me. And it was the exact push in the back that I needed from another earthling at that time. Okay. All right. I'm not sure if that story made any sense, but that's the story. I don't know if it made any sense at all being told while hooping, but that is why I think if you have something nice to say to someone, you should say it. You have no idea. Like, that's the thing. It's like so many shy people like me don't say the nice thing because we don't want to, like, whatever. And I'm so glad that that woman yelled, you know, "Sick, sick, you're fucking sick." Like, when she said that to me, oh my God, you know, she had no idea that she was, you know, trumpeting me towards a better person. All right, so, I want to sort of hit everything here, but Sarah, when it comes to winter hooping and staying inside, I drill a lot in the winter. I used to always like to hoop outside. Now I'm lucky enough I have space I can hoop inside, but I haven't always, and always liked hooping outside. And even though the weather's great here in North Carolina 10 months of the year, sometimes it's too cold for me. And so what I would do in that, and we'll do it now, is do rooted type practices. So for me, okay, so for me, a rooted type practice, is that too long? Oh, thanks, Dorothy. All right, so this is rooted type hooping, and I'll just show you a couple of like little things that I do during the type winter. Now, obviously, oh sweet, okay, you guys are, maybe there's a bigger delay than I thought. Okay, so, all right, I don't think I've proofed this one for lyrics, but let's talk about rooted hooping. Now, obviously, if you're ever feeling flow, then you don't need a system, right? You just let go of the system, but the system sometimes you can kind of start off with some structure in order to leave that structure, right? And so that's kind of what we're doing right here. So I'm gonna start this song over, but I'm gonna show you some rooted ways, what I call winter hooping, that really can be fun. Okay, so rooted just means that your feet are not moving that much, that the majority of motion that you're getting is with your feet staying more or less in the same place, right? Now, the orientation could be whatever you want, but you're rooted, and then, so you don't hurt yourself, you don't injure yourself. Of course, you can change your rooting, like, and try different type of rootings, right? There we go. I don't know where we are here. Okay. So this is me trying a wide stance and rooting. You can try this. How turned out you are, that's kind of up to you. If you feel like getting an ab workout, then the closer I bring my feet together rooted.
Bring it back, make it clap.
Then the big stance.
Make it clap. Make it clap.
I want to see if I can show you something from bird's eye that would be hopefully. It's not going to work. Of course it's not. Alright, that's fine. I don't need it anyway. So this is a little bit easier if I could. My bird's eye camera's been going in and out on me, but if I turn against the current while rooted and then go back the other way, I'm turning against the current. You see what I'm doing? I'm turning against the current with my whole body, keeping my hands in front of me. Of course, you can do it any way you want to, but now, this is a fundamental skill, but it's not easy. And your family will have no idea how hard it is. And then you can try that up at the shoulders as well. So if I'm up here at my shoulders, I can turn against the current, turn with it. Now we're working specifically on rooting, so my feet are staying planted, but they can move. I just want to make sure that's clear. But they're not. I'm trying to use their digging in as the source of the strength up here. This is me turning with the current. I'm going to the left right now. Me turning against it. And so these are the type of skills that you can work on in the winter when you can't wait to get back outside again, or if you have tight spaces. Because I'm rooted, so all I really need is space for my hoop. I'm doing these super slow, and if you wanted to try it in a different way, you can do them kind of quick. Actually, that got me thinking about shoulders, so let's do one shoulder song. All right, so if you can, come up here with me on the shoulders. and we're not going to do a whole shoulders class. But I've noticed that sometimes and I'm sure you guys, whatever, but I've noticed that some hoopers will just sort of, they want to learn shoulders, but they just can't seem to bond to it. And I totally understand that feeling with a technique where you want to like it, but you just can't. And what I recommend is just do a song at a time. We'll just do this song, shoulder hooping, get it done, and just, wait for the magic to happen. Think of it like an awkward date. And then for those of you that can't shoulder hoop, we'll just offer a few things. Jackie pointed this out a couple weeks ago. I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about core hooping, but just understanding the difference in palm orientation, that like your palms can be up in shoulders, palms up towards the sky here. Palms down. If you are new to shoulder hooping and you want to try rooted shoulders where your feet aren't moving, it's usually your first. Let me start this. Pause this for a second. So here's what happens. A lot of times when people stop their feet, like they go from shoulder hooping and then they stop their feet, they keep wanting to kind of wind around, and that's usually because what we call the first tree or the AM arm is pushing the hoop forward, right? And sometimes it's pushing it works, but it's pushing it so forward that the other tree, the other arm is not even touching the hoop in the rotation. I'll show you. It kind of looks like this. And then what happens, and not that, this is a physical thing, but like what happens is that when you stop, you can't keep twisting, and you just eventually you run out of like a trajectory for your push, right? And so one of the ways that you can battle against that or push against that tendency, not battle, but push, compensate for it, is to push back with what we call the AM arm. So that's as the hoop is going around me. If it's going to the left, that's my right arm. If it's going to the right, that's my left arm, right? It's like how the hoop, if it's the point of contact, it's the sun, like how it comes across. And so for those of you that are trying to learn rooted shoulders, sometimes what will help you is if you take your AM arm, that's the first part of your chest that the hoop is hitting as it rolls around, and push it back, right? So instead of pushing it forward like that, you're pulling it back like this. And you can kind of see like my elbow kind of pulling to the back there. related to winter hooping, and then we'll get into the balances. We'll take a break from the core. But this might be a little bit more Monday night than Thursday night. But you can try, this would be awesome if my bird's eye camera was working, but you can try to move away from your central line as you're shoulder hooping. And I'll show you what that looks like. Let's see if I can. Okay. I don't know if this is really going to work, but you see how I'm rooted here, okay? I can shift my weight over to one side, or shift it to the other side, or shift it forward, or shift it back. Okay, now this is super geeky. Or I can try to roll. Oh, I don't know if that makes any sense. But I can try to roll around, become sort of conical here, and roll around from that center point. But for me, it was helpful sometimes just to try and focus on one, like I'm sort of over here. I have no idea if this is making sense. Over here or forward. And this will helped me develop rooted. And this is kind of, Sarah's probably regretting she asked this, but these are the kind of things that I work on in the winter, honestly. Okay, so let's see, where was I? Oh, I want to talk a little bit about lifts. We're running out of time, aren't we? No, we're doing all right. Okay. Oh, that's a good song. We'll come back to that one. I just want to go over lifts and make sure that you have, or I'll give you opportunity to ask questions if you need it. I'm assuming most people have these, but if you don't, there's no shame in that. The first one we call the first tree lift, the AM lift. It has different names in the hoop community. I think people used to call it I can't remember what they would call them now, like seatbelt lift or something. I don't remember anyway. But the lift looks like this. So the hoop's going around to the left. It's going counterclockwise. If you remember what clocks when they had hands did, right? It's going to the left. And I'm going to reach with my right hand behind me and pull it up. And then this is called right now, this like at least in HoopPath terms, and I think in the flow world in general, this is the window. Do you see the window is this thing right here? And so if the more I turn with the hoop in the current that it's going, the window stays open, right? If I turn against it, the window wants to close quicker. So I'll show you what I mean. If I stall with this old school lift, right, then the window is going to stay open forever, and I can just lift the hoop up. Like the only thing that closed that window was it just running out of momentum, right? But it wasn't about to slam into anything because I'm turning with it, and that can really help you learn this lift. My hand's gonna, shit. See, this is when I wish you guys were in a physical space, because then I could tell. If everybody's got this, we'll just move on, but I just wanna make sure, just in case anybody's watching this for the first time. There's no shame in not knowing this, but you're gonna come into the back side, the hoop's gonna roll around right there. You're gonna push out with your hand as you're wiping up, right? You can imagine like the hand's gonna be here, and I'm gonna wipe up. I can't really grip it because I need the hoop to pivot in my hand for this to work, right? So I'm not gonna really try to grip it. I'm just gonna kind of like let my fingers and everything sort of work to get it up there. The hoop comes up, that's a lift. When the hoop comes down, that's a drop in. Sweet, Sarah. It's a super old school exercise, but it might be fun to try with this song. It's doing as many lifts and drop-ins as you can and trying to make both good. So the other lift would be, so this is the AM arm, and these reverse depending on the current, but that's the AM arm, the PM arm, and this is the one they used to call the hitchhiker. But you can move for me, it's more of like a suit, like it has more of a seatbelt type motion. But I'm coming across, the hoop's going to hit my hand here, and then I push the hoop up and into the air, right? So it's here. I'm going to come down. My hoop's going to the left. I'm going in with my left hand. You saw where we're going to finish this up because this is an easy move, but well, it's a fundamental move. I don't know how easy it is with the vortex. So I come from that lift, I bring the hoop down, and then instead of bringing it to the core, my hands are going to meet here. So I'm going from a drop in from one hand to a lift on the other hand, and that's the vortex essentially. So if the hoop is going to my left, I'm reaching behind me in my left hand, I'm pushing the hoop out, and if I keep turning, that's going to keep that window open, and that'll help me pull it off. Now once I pull it off, oh, okay. All right, well, wait a second, let me make sure okay, so Heidi just asked about the second one, so I'm assuming she means this PM lift. So the reason they're called first tree and second tree is because it's the direction that the hoops are traveling, right? And so the point of contact moves around. So for the second one, you're going to go and greet the hoop at sunrise, right? So as it's coming in onto your front half, right? So if it's going to the left, your right side, your hand's going to come down here or whatever. Your hand's going to come down here, and it's going to get there. And that will, especially if you're struggling with the lift, that will help. The closer you get to sunrise, kind of the easier it is. And then turn with it. Now, this is kind of an awkward move, and it might be really hard if you have a small hoop. I don't know. Most people don't do this move from the waist, but it's really cool from the shoulders. But from the waist, it looks like this. The thing I like about the lift is not the actual lift itself, but what the elbow has to do for that to happen. And that's pretty helpful later on in hooping. So then if I'm going from one hand to the other hand, boom, boom, and then what I do to make my vortexes, when we did them, was to pivot your wrist when you're making these exchanges, especially this top one, to pivot your wrist, and that'll give a little bit extra oomph on it. I'll show you what I mean. So this upper hand is actually twisting the hoop when it's here, and then I'm noticing that my back hand is kind of paddling as I come back around. Yeah, well, that's a building block type move. Good, Heidi. All right, let me bring the music back. And then, not to torture you, but since most of you are not beginners that are watching this right now, you can do these vortexes rooted, of course, and that's, going back to this whole winter theme that I'm overworking. And you can also cut against the current while you're doing them too. Like this is me, I'm turning into the current as I'm doing this vortex. If I turn with the current when I'm doing the vortex, it just sort of slows it down. But if I turn, here we go. If I turn into the current, it speeds it up. I'm gonna close my eyes because they always cross when I do this. I don't want to look like an idiot. And I think in the last class we talked about doing them on an angle as well. Let's see. All right, I want to give you a couple of minutes of music just to practice those. But I do want to talk about balance after this. fire away. Any questions that you have? I'll show you what I'm talking about with these vortexes. Moving with it, try moving against it, and then, you know, each lift has a current, right? So you can, like, if you really, every lift, there's two options for every lift. It's first current, second current, right? So if I'm going to the left and I've got this one, I'm feeling good about that, right? And I've got this one and I'm feeling good about that, right? I can reverse the hoop, and then I'll do the exact same thing. I'll come here, and this time the left hand is becoming that hand. And so then you can try these, you know, ultimately the goal would be to vortex in both currents, right? If you have trouble clearing it is kind of chicken winged. Yeah, that's where the artistry comes in. You have to sort of figure out what to do with it. Because at first it just wants to get out of the way, the arm. Oh, huh, that's cool. Rooted vortex is kind of its own cool thing, you know? And we talked about angles last time, but hey, I'm feeling good. I feel it's so much more energized and awake than when I started. Thank you guys for that. All right, so I do want to, I know I just realized. Yeah. Absolutely. Wow, Sarah, you're such a so creative. Your mind. I think we should talk a little. Let's talk balance. Let's move into that spring equinox. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about balance. And Heidi asked specifically about one-handed balance. Let me put some super chill tunes on that'll. Yeah, okay, so this is sort of a weird recording, but, well, I mean, I love this, but it's definitely drony. Okay, so with all balances, to finish it off, and this is great for winter hooping also, but it is, for me, it is all about my sight and gazing onto the hoop and pretending that, like, my eyes can go out and grip the hoop and hold the hoop there, right? That they are gripping it. And for me, that visualization, like I don't know if we all have ADD or whatever, but it was through balance that I really appreciate how focus could get me through difficult moments where I can't concentrate or where I'm too distracted because of whatever. And so what can help in your balance is to practice the skill of focus. Like it used to help get me to my gate in the airport to just focus. And I know it sounds crazy, it's kind of like that story, but I really think it was balance with the hoop that actually helped me learn to focus in real life and not let my ADD run my life, right? And so for me, when I'm trying to hold the hoop with one hand, now I'll be honest with you, most of the time when I'm doing a one-handed balance, I'm not holding the hoop in day, so that's what this would be. Most of the time when I'm holding the hoop in a one-handed balance, I'm holding it in what we call bow. I don't know why. Well, I know why, it doesn't really make sense, but it's this. And what I'm doing is, instead of looking here and causing my eyes to cross and be too blurry, I look across there to this spot, and that's what I'm holding. And it really doesn't matter like from what side I look at the hoop, look at it from, or how it lines up, but just that I'm seeing it. Because what happens is, as my eyes, or for me, what my belief is that once my eyes lock in on it and they're holding it, then my body goes into action to make that work, right? And so, and it's such a faster thing that my brain can't tell my body to do it. So it's really just got to get out of the way of my hand talking to my legs. And your focal point could be different than mine, right? Like maybe it is this. In a lot of the flow community, you're told to look right here, but that was just too weird for me. Maybe you're going up here, maybe you're going down here. What I don't recommend is don't look at your hand. When you're trying to learn balance, so you look at your hand. Yeah, don't look at your hand. Anywhere but your hand. Couple things. Some of you might want to try rolling into a balance. I've talked about these before. Since this is Thursday night, I'm going to reset this. But rolling into a balance can really help you sometimes find it. I don't know why, but instead of like starting off from a static place and just trying to feel that balance, you can roll the hoop. I'm rolling it towards the hand that's going to hold it. So for me, it's on my left. It's rolling towards my right. I'm going to roll it and just push up into it and see if that helps me find it. I wanted to do it with my left hand. I'm rolling the hoop towards my left and we'll push up. Dorothy, I'm gonna let you finish that question. Do I ever balance from the palm side? I don't, because, well, Yeah, I've kind of changed a lot in the old days, and I just kind of wanted to trademark doing it on the back of the hand, and I don't know why. I don't know. That just became something that became important to me. But it's not a rule, because when Tiana came to the HoopPath retreat, I think Jackie was there if she's still here, she taught balance from the palm, and Mike Hayataka, all these great balancers balance on their palm and do both. I honestly don't think it's that different. This is me balancing on my palm. For me, it's easier because, you know, I can curl my hand to the shape of the hoop. Oh, sweet Jackie. I can curl my hand to the shape of the hoop. And that's like, so the thing, one of the reasons that I use a bag of hand is so that I don't cheat, right? Like, I really wanted to just be as ninja as or as, you know, badass as possible. But this is me holding it here. And then this is what we call, you know, Jackie might remember this because this is old school HoopPath, but this is called open point, which is kind of redundant, but this is where, like, if the hoop is touching your palm, like, and this is when we were back in the old day when we would do point technique, we would do this kind of open point where you're showing to the crowd, the folks at home, that you're not gripping it at all. So I'm being such a nerd right now, but this is open point palm balancing. You see how I'm like pulling my hands around or away from it as much as I can? This would be the opposite. This would be, if there's such a thing as gooey balance, this would be gooey balance right here. Actually, this would be gooey balance. This would be gooey balance, just making some kind of third point of contact on the core, probably. But Dorothy, you can do a lot of cool things. You can just squeeze the hand and do things like that when you're balancing on the palm. So it's an awesome thing to try. Like, you can kind of squeeze it together and do these like cool like balance. It's a lot easier to do that kind of thing. Like, if I want to do an axle spin on the back of my hand, I have to introduce some other agent, right? But if I'm doing it on my palm, I can just kind of like, obviously I don't do these. One thing that I do think is cool is when you like hand walk with the palm. I do think that kind of looks cool. I forgot about that move, but there we go. It's so much harder than what I remember. Well, I guess I'm like everybody else. If you don't practice it, this would be walking them back towards me. That's a little bit, that's easier for hand walking, is to roll the hoop back towards you. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. And then rolling it away from me, I'd have to, that's hard. There we go. Shit. Okay, so we're way over time. Let me put some music on and let you guys free hoop, ask questions. If you have like I'm in tech mode, so if you have a specific question, just fire away. But let me put something on for you all to listen to. Yeah, we went some unpredictable places for sure. I'm glad you were down. Thanks, Heidi, for your questions. Your feedback is really important. It really helps us like come up with a cool class. No class on Monday, by the way. All right, since I think we're about to get kicked off anyway, should we listen to this? Yeah, all right, we're gonna listen to this. It's a totally different vibe. I think we're already off of Facebook, so this is our free hoop here, guys. You can hoop any way you want to. Old school, late 80s, early 90s, I guess. I think he said 5. understand. This is our free, no more teaching. But if you have any questions, let me know.
It was alright. It was alright. Hey. Jim said when she was just about 5 years old, man, money's gonna be the death of us all. You know, 2 TVs and 2 Cadillac cars, man, it won't help me at all. Not at all. And one by morning she put on New York Station, man, and she couldn't believe what she heard. Not at all. She started dancing to that fine, fine music, and her life was sleep by rock and roll. Rock and roll. Despite all the implications, you can dance to the rock and roll station. It was alright. Yeah, it was alright. Oh! She said when she was only 5 years old, man, there's nothing gonna happen here at all. Every time you put on this goddamn radio, man, there's nothing going down at all. Not at all. And one fine morning she puts on this LA station, man, she says, I can't believe what I heard at all. Not at all. She started dancing to all that music. Whoa, and I was slaving rock and roll. Rock and roll. Despite the implication, you can dance to a rock and roll station. You know it was alright. You know it was alright. And it was alright. It was alright.
God, I love that song. All right. Okay, good night, guys. Thank you so much.
I've been drifting along in the same stale shoes. Loose ends tying a noose in the back of my mind. If you thought that you were making your way to where the puzzles and pagans lay, or put it together, it's a strange invitation. When I wake up, someone will sweep up my lazy bones, and we will rise in the cool of the evening. I remember the way that you smiled when the gravity shackles were wild. There's something is very